Hey, have you ever found yourself totally fine splurging on maybe the latest gadget, but then you kind of hesitate over spending less on something really practical?
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's
Yeah.
funny how our brains handle money, isn't it?
It really is. And today, we're going to dig into why that happens. We're talking about mental accounting,
Exactly. It's basically how we mentally sort our money. We categorize it, we track it in these separate little mental accounts in our heads.
like having unspoken budgets for different things.
Pretty much. Groceries in one box, fun money in another.
And we're not just pulling this out of thin air. This deep dive is based on a great article, Mental Accounting, How Customers Categorize Spending and How to Use It E-Commerce Psychology. It's by Mohammed Tufekcipan, published March 16th, 2025.
Right. And our goal today is really to, unpack this whole idea, understand how it influences how you spend, especially online.
We're hoping you might have a few aha moments about maybe why you sometimes make those, let's say, interesting money choices.
Yeah, those seemingly irrational moments.
This deep dive is powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.
So yeah, mental accounting, it's a fascinating field.
Okay, so where did this idea actually come from? Who figured this out?
Well, the concept really took off with Richard Thaler's work back around 1985.
Miller, okay, the behavioral economics guy.
That's the one. And the core puzzle he highlighted is this. Money is fungible, right? A dollar is a dollar.
Technically.
But we just don't treat it that way. We mentally label it, put it in different buckets, and treat those buckets completely differently.
And that has real economic consequences.
Absolutely. It affects everything from how we budget day to day to, huge life decisions like buying a house or saving for retirement.
It's not just about tracking numbers, it's the psychology behind it,
Yeah.
the labels we stick on our cash.
Precisely. And there are a few key psychological drivers behind this. One huge one is loss aversion.
Prospect theory. Losing feels worse than winning feels good.
Exactly. We feel the sting of a loss, like twice as much as the pleasure of an equal gain. So because of that, we might be super protective of our savings account,
Right, guard it like a fortress.
but maybe a bit looser with, say, money we just found or got as a gift.
That makes total sense. I know I'm way more careful with my paycheck than, like, a birthday check from my aunt.
Right. And emotions are massive, too. Think about feeling guilty using your vacation fund for, I don't know, a car repair, even if it's the smartest move financially.
Yeah, that feels wrong somehow, even if it's logical.
Totally. And for a lot of us, it's also a self-control tool.
Yeah.
Setting up that new car fund helps stop you from just frittering that money away on smaller things.
We create these mental walls around money to manage ourselves.
Sort of, yeah. Invisible boundaries. We're not treating it as one big pool of cash.
Okay, and this is obviously super relevant for businesses, right?
Right.
Especially in e-commerce.
Oh, hugely. If a business gets how its customers are mentally budgeting, they can frame their offers better. Exactly. They can position a product so it fits neatly into a mental category the customer already has. Maybe frame it as a treat if it fits the fun money budget.
Or highlight how it solves a problem that fits into the essential repairs budget.
Precisely. It gives them a real edge. But, and this is important, they need to use this ethically.
Right. You don't want to manipulate people or break their trust.
No, definitely not. It's about understanding, not exploiting. But getting it right can influence everything from pricing to promotions to how you even bundle products.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty then. These mental budgets and categories, how solid are they?
Well, we all kind of do it. Groceries, entertainment, bills, savings.
Yeah.
Like mental envelopes or jars.
Like those physical cash envelope systems some people use.
Kind of like that, yeah, but in our heads. It helps track spending, stops us going overboard in one area, but it can lead to weirdness.
Like what?
Like someone taking out a high-interest loan while they have the exact amount sitting in a holiday fund they refuse to touch.
Oof. Yeah, that doesn't sound optimal financially.
Not at all. The mental walls are too rigid. Emotional accounting overrides logical accounting sometimes.
So our feelings about the money's purpose matter more than the actual numbers. The article also mentioned value perception. Two parts to that.
Right. There's acquisition value, basically. How useful is this thing? What benefit do I actually get?
Okay, the practical side.
And then there's transaction value. This is all about how good a deal it feels like. Is it cheaper than I expected? Am I getting a discount?
The thrill of the bargain.
Exactly. We love feeling like we got a deal. Sometimes that feeling is even more powerful than how much we actually need the item.
Guilty as charged. And the pain of paying.
Yeah, that's the little sting you feel when you spend money. And it varies. Handing over physical cash, that often feels more painful, more real.
Than just taping a card or clicking buy now.
Right. Contactless or online payments can feel almost frictionless, which might lead us to spend a bit more easily.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What about where the money comes from? Does that change how we spend it?
Oh, definitely. That's source-based mental accounting. Think about found money, like a tax refund or a small lottery win.
Yeah. What about it?
We tend to treat that very differently than our regular salary. It often goes towards treats, indulgences, things we wouldn't normally buy.
Because it feels less earned.
Sort of. Or maybe just less earmarked for boring stuff like bills. Then there's the house money effect.
Like in gambling.
Yeah. If you win some money early on, you might be much more willing to take bigger risks with those winnings than you were with your original stake. It feels like you're playing with their money.
Interesting. So you get bolder.
A bit, yeah. And we also tend to mentally separate future income from current income. Sometimes we make spending decisions based on today's budget without fully accounting for costs that are coming down the line.
Like future me will figure it out.
Something like that. It's a bit of mental juggling.
So these concepts aren't just theoretical. They're happening all around us, all the time.
Absolutely. Look at everyday budgeting. We track spending by category: food, transport, fun. It helps keep us disciplined.
But it can also lead to that weird inefficiency, right? Like paying credit card interest while hoarding savings.
Exactly. Because the savings are in the don't touch mental account, even if using them to pay debt would save money.
And risk-taking, too. You mentioned the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, that's a classic. You keep pouring money or effort into something just because you've already invested so much from a specific mental budget, even when it's clearly not working out anymore.
Like finishing a terrible movie just because you paid for the ticket.
Precisely. And we treat small daily risks, like buying a coffee, differently from big purchase risks. Our spending and saving habits show it clearly, too. A bonus might get spent super fast,
Gone in a flash?
while the emergency fund stays locked down, even if there's high interest debt sitting right there. It's like different pots of money have different personalities in our heads.
It's wild how these invisible lines guide so much. Okay, what about specific buying situations? Like just grocery shopping?
Well, for everyday stuff like groceries, lots of people have a pretty firm mental food budget. They try to stick to it.
But maybe they have a separate, looser budget for eating out.
Exactly. Or a treat yourself fund for little splurges. That's tapping into a specific mental account for pleasure spending. And again, paying with cash versus card might make you stick to that budget more or less strictly.
And for the big things,
Oh.
houses, cars, education.
With major decisions, it gets complex. Multiple mental accounts might be involved. Someone might stretch their budget way further for something deemed essential, like their kids' education,
Okay.
but be really tight-fisted about spending a similar amount on something seen as discretionary, even if it brings similar long-term value.
And investing. Different risk levels for different pots of money.
Totally. Retirement savings often get treated very conservatively, very low risk, but money labeled plea money or speculative investment might see much riskier bets.
What about things like holidays or giving to charity?
Holidays and vacations almost always have their own dedicated mental budget. People often allow themselves to be more generous within that bucket.
Yeah, it's vacation. Justification.
Right. Luxury items, too, can be justified by tapping into an I deserve this or special occasion mental account, and charitable giving. That often comes from a completely separate altruism account, influencing how much we give versus spend elsewhere.
Man, I'm seeing my own habits reflected in all of this. It's quite something. So how can businesses actually use this understanding? Let's talk applications.
Okay, pricing is a big one.
Yeah.
Think about bundling. Putting several things together might appeal if the customer sees it fitting into one larger mental budget, like home entertainment setup.
We're unbundling.
Or unbundling, yeah. Breaking it down so each smaller piece fits neatly into a specific, smaller mental category, making each part feel more justifiable.
What about subscriptions?
Subscriptions are huge here. A small monthly fee often feels less painful and fits easier into a regular bill's mental account than a big one-off payment, even if the total cost is the same or more over time.
And offering annual versus monthly options.
Caters to different budgeting styles, exactly. Some prefer the big hit once, others prefer smoothing it out. Decoy pricing works too.
Now that.
You offer option A, option B, which is what you want to sell, and option C, which is slightly better than B, but much more expensive. It makes option B look like the sensible, good value choice in comparison.
That's clever. It's manipulating the transaction value perception.
Pretty much. It's framing the cost to align with how people mentally weigh value.
And in marketing messages.
Oh, lots you can do. Framing costs relative to small daily things, less than a cup of coffee a day, that minimizes the perceived hit.
Makes it seem trivial.
Exactly. Highlighting discounts is key, tapping into that getting a deal feeling. And using emotional language that connects the product to a specific mental need or budget, your relaxation fund deserves this.
So connecting to the why behind the mental account.
Yes.
Yeah.
And focusing on intangible benefits, saving time, reducing stress can help lessen the focus on the price tag, reducing that pain of paying.
Can the product design itself reinforce this?
Absolutely. Think about digital banking apps that let you create pots or liels for different savings goals. That's literally building mental accounting into the product.
Mirroring how we already think.
Right. Offering payment plans, installment options that breaks down a large cost into smaller chunks that fit mental budgets better. Even just clearly communicating the value proposition for each part of a bundle can help justify the overall cost in the customer's mind.
Let's pivot to loyalty programs. How do they play into mental accounting?
Loyalty points are fascinating. They essentially create this separate currency in our heads.
Like play money?
Almost, yeah. People often treat points as bonus money or free money, making them much more willing to spend it, sometimes on things they wouldn't buy with actual cash.
Even if the cash value isn't that high.
Sometimes, yeah. The link between points and real money can be a bit fuzzy. Smart program design uses this. Redemption thresholds: spend 100 more points to get X, create urgency.
Or a goal to aim for.
Exactly. Status tiers: silver, gold, platinum, reinforce mental categorization. I'm a gold member. These points are for special treats.
Makes you feel exclusive.
Right. Point expiration dates tap into loss aversion, use them or lose them. And partnerships, where you can earn or spend points across different brands, can merge mental accounts and build broader loyalty.
So it builds a brand-specific mental account almost.
For really loyal customers, yes. Spending within that brand's ecosystem, fueled by points and affinity, becomes its own category, strengthening the relationship. It's like psychological ownership.
Okay, digital finance is changing everything. Mobile payments, apps. How's that affecting mental accounting?
While mobile payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, often make spending feel incredibly frictionless. Almost too easy sometimes.
Reducing that pain of paying again.
Definitely. Digital wallets that let you label funds, holiday fund, new gadget, directly cater to our desire to categorize. And budgeting apps often automate expense tracking.
Which could make us more aware.
It could, or it could just reinforce the categories we already use. Many apps use that digital envelope language, visual dashboards, goal trackers, all mirroring mental accounting principles.
What about the future? AI, VR.
We're likely to see more AI-driven insights and suggestions based on our spending patterns within these mental accounts. Maybe augmented reality overlays showing your budget status as you shop. Blockchain could change how we track and categorize digital assets, too.
So technology and psychology merging even more.
Absolutely. It's all about making financial management more intuitive by aligning it with how our brains naturally work with money.
It seems like pretty much any business could use these ideas. Can we look at a few specific industries? Retail?
Sure. In retail and e-commerce, think about optional add-ons at checkout, warranties, gift wrapping. They're often framed as small extras that might fit a separate mental budget.
Like an, oh, go on then purchase.
Exactly. Clear, easy return policies reduce the perceived risk, lowering the pain of paying up front. Offering discounts on related products after a purchase targets a potentially different mental account or need that's just been activated.
Financial services, banks, credit cards.
Banks are increasingly designing products around goal savings accounts named House Deposit Emergency Fund. Credit cards tailor rewards to spending categories, travel, groceries, gas, directly tapping into those mental budgets. Investment products are often framed differently based on the perceived mental account source, safe retirement funds versus growth opportunity funds.
In subscription services, they seem built for this.
They really are. The monthly versus annual billing choice hits different budgeting preferences. All-you-can-eat access models feel different mentally than pay-per-use. Bundling services simplifies the mental cost calculation.
Yeah, reduces the friction.
Yeah, and tactics like reminding you about unused credits or benefits tap into loss aversion, reinforcing the value and encouraging continued subscription.
So if a business wants to actually do this, how do they figure out how their customers are thinking? How do they measure it?
It starts with research. You can use surveys, asking customers directly how they budget or think about different types of spending. Lab experiments can test reactions to different pricing or framing. Even neuroimaging is being explored.
Brain scans. Wow.
Yeah, though that's more academic for now. Behavioral economics gives a great framework for designing practical tests. Then you look at your own data.
Transaction histories.
Exactly. Look for patterns. Do people splurge on fun things right after payday? Do certain customer segments always buy warranties? You can A/B test different payment plans, different marketing messages.
Test which approach resonates better with those mental accounts.
Right. And segment customers based on these behaviors. Key things to track are conversion rates, customer lifetime value, ROI on these specific initiatives, and general brand sentiment or customer feedback.
Makes sense. You need to see if it's actually working. Now, we touched on ethics earlier, but it feels important. There's a fine line here, isn't there?
There really is. Understanding psychology is powerful, and it can be misused. The line between helpful design like budgeting tools and manipulation can be blurry.
Like nudging people into options that aren't really in their best interest.
Exactly. Or making it difficult to access funds earmarked for savings, even in an emergency. Transparency is absolutely crucial. Businesses need to be upfront about costs, fees, and how things work.
Should businesses also try to educate customers?
Ideally, yes. Helping customers understand the concept of money being fungible, helping them see where their mental accounting might be inefficient, can empower them to make better choices. Offering financial literacy tips or tools can build trust.
So it's about partnership, not just selling.
That's the responsible approach. Focusing on long-term relationships built on trust is usually better than short-term gains from manipulative tactics. Offering flexibility during hardship, being clear about fees that builds loyalty.
Okay, looking ahead. What are the future trends in mental accounting?
Yeah.
How might this evolve?
Well, consumer behavior is always changing. We see generational differences in attitudes towards money and debt. Economic uncertainty might lead people to create more robust rainy day accounts.
And new categories, crypto, NFTs.
Exactly. New asset types create new mental categories and spending behaviors. Technology will keep pushing things forward. AI giving personalized budgeting advice, maybe voice assistants summarizing your spending by your mental categories.
Could our mental accounts become more fluid?
Potentially. Or technology might just give us better tools to manage the rigid ones we already have. Research is ongoing too, more neuroscience, studies across different cultures tracking how our mental accounting habits change over our lifetimes.
So for a business listening right now, wanting to implement some of these ideas, what's a practical first step?
First, assess. Look at your own customer data. Audit spending patterns. Where do people seem to be spending from different pots?
Identify the opportunities.
Right. Where could your offers better align with likely mental accounts? Then, strategize. Plan specific tactics, maybe test a new bundling option. Tweak your subscription pricing. Refine your loyalty program messaging. Allocate resources to do it properly.
And then test, test, test.
Absolutely. Don't overhaul everything at once. Start with pilot programs for specific customer segments. Track the key metrics. Sales, satisfaction, churn. Use A/B testing rigorously to see what actually works.
Give feedback.
Continuous feedback loops are vital. Listen to customers. Refine your approach based on real-world results.
And it needs buy-in across the company.
Definitely. Marketing, sales, product development, finance, they all need to be aware of the strategy. Train your teams. Make sure these tactics align with your broader business goals, like improving customer loyalty or user experience. It's not just a marketing trick. It's about understanding the customer better.
This has been incredibly insightful, really unpacking how we mentally slice and dice our money, the psychology behind it, and what it means for us and for e-commerce.
It's a powerful lens, isn't it? Once you start seeing it, you notice mental accounting everywhere in your own decisions and in how businesses interact with you.
Absolutely. It shows how much our financial behavior is driven by these internal, often unseen frameworks.
And understanding that can be a real advantage, whether you're trying to manage your own finances better or trying to connect with customers more effectively.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Start noticing your own mental accounts. How do you categorize your spending? And how might just being aware of those categories change how you think about your next purchase or savings goal? Observe yourself for a few days. You might be surprised.
It's a great exercise.
This deep dive was powered by Growth Suite. Growth Suite helps you to run smart discount campaigns on your store. Test it for free on your Shopify store. Just land on the Shopify App Store now and test it for free.